Stranger Things is back, and season 4 has brought with it some of that classic 80s charm. Kate Bush's Running Up That Hill seems to be everywhere, with its streams on Spotify spiking to 9,900%, bringing it back to the Billboard charts. It's inclusions like this classic song and loads of other nostalgic references that make Stranger Things instantly relatable. Hey, I'm Charlie and welcome to Gateway to Anime. This is our video on Stranger Things and the anime that inspired it. Stranger Things Season 4 is leaning into some darker territory, and some of the horror inspirations are coming through even stronger than before. There is a reoccurring scene this season that reminded us of all the anime that the showrunners have cited as inspiration for the series, so we want to talk about it. If you haven't had a chance to watch Stranger Things Season 4 or any of the anime we're about to mention, don't worry, there are no spoilers in this video at all. And if you stick around to the end, we have some really good recommendations for other shows that you might want to watch afterwards. The 80s aesthetic is clearly inspired by Amblin films such as The Goonies and E.T. The show's creators, the Duffer brothers, even used old Stephen King book covers to communicate this look in their pitch to the studios. Another huge part of the show's appeal is Eleven's story, a young child with psychic abilities being experimented on by shady government organizations. If that's what hooked you to the show, why not watch the anime that inspired it? The 80s anime masterpiece, Akira, is a great follow-up to Stranger Things. A group of young delinquent teens discover a shady government program experimenting on children with psychic abilities, and very soon, one of them is swept into the experiments themselves and breaks their way out of the facility. In Stranger Things, we first meet Eleven in a hospital gown after escaping a similar facility, which looks a bit familiar. The name 11 was her numerical designation given to her and the other children being tested for psychic abilities. This detail was also directly lifted from Akira, where the children's numbers are tattooed to their hands. Akira was groundbreaking for its time, developing new animation techniques with painstaking attention to detail. Most 2D animation draws every second frame compared to live-action film, a technique called animating on twos. On Akira, they drew every single frame, animating on ones, which doubled the workload for the animators. The result is a movie with incredibly smooth animation and beautifully painted background art, paired with an audio experience just as unique. All the dialogue in Akira was recorded before animating. This allowed the actors to give powerful performances, unrestricted by what would usually be pre-animated scenes. This also allowed the animators to ensure that they matched up dialogue with the mouth animations perfectly. And the soundtrack for Akira is pretty iconic too. Gaino Yamashiragumi combined traditional Balinese gamelan music with futuristic sounds for the 80s, like synths and reverb-drenched drum kits, to create a truly unique and otherworldly sound. Combine this with some wild vocal lines and the results, well, they speak for themselves. If you somehow haven't seen this film and you enjoyed Stranger Things, this is a must-watch. It's one of the best anime films of all time and one of the key inspirations for Stranger Things. Akira is such an influential piece of art that once you've seen it, you'll notice it referenced everywhere. If you've already watched this movie 1,000 times, this is a good enough excuse for a rewatch. It gets a bit darker from here. Stranger Things creator Matt Duffer also cited anime series Elfen Lied as a key inspiration, but this certainly isn't a show for everyone. While the plotline is clearly similar, there is graphic violence and nudity from the first scene, so strong content warning on this one. Definitely not a gateway anime for newcomers. When Elfen Lied was released in 2004, it garnered a lot of attention for being an edgy and mature anime. This is at a time when the majority of Western audiences were more familiar with family-friendly shows such as Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, and Dragon Ball Z. While it's great that it may have helped some people see that animation isn't just for kids, its legacy is controversial, and most people remember the show for its explicit content and not so much its plot. If you've got a strong stomach, you can check it out, but it's not for everyone, and we don't recommend it as a casual viewer. If that doesn't sound up your alley, there is another anime series with a group of kids developing psychic powers and discovering the dark secrets of their seemingly idyllic town. Shinsekai Yori, or From the New World, is a coming-of-age story, following Saki and her friends as they develop psychic abilities and learn to control them. This small town has some unsettling secrets, with children disappearing and rumours of monsters. As they grow up, Saki and her friends unravel the dark mysteries that the adults had kept from them. It's based on a novel and has some great writing and world building. Psionic powers are a normal part of growing up in this world, and the way that this anime fuses that with Japanese tradition in this dystopian setting is fascinating. This series has some really profound moments, and it doesn't seem to get talked about as much as we think it should. It's definitely a little weirder than Stranger Things, and if you insist on having some 80s vibes in there as well, just stick with Akira. If you're a fan of psychic elements and the darker tone of Stranger Things Season 4, Shinsekai Yori is worth checking out. Although the creators of Stranger Things have only cited a couple of anime as direct inspirations, characters with psychic abilities are all throughout Japanese media and anime. There's classics such as Mewtwo and Ness from Nintendo's Earthbound, as well as some new anime series worth checking out such as Mob Psycho 100. If you're after something in a similar vein to Stranger Things, although not exactly dealing with psychic abilities, I'd recommend Steins Gate or Serial Experiments Lane. If you enjoyed that video, we've got so much more to come on Gateway to Anime. Please subscribe and like, and stay tuned. Thank you so much. If you want more Gateway to Anime, jump on our Instagram. We also have heaps of podcast episodes with show notes on our website.